All right, so I got that stuff taken care of. I've got my graphics cards, lined up over here. I'm gonna do that last. And obviously, the main thing that needed to happen was get rid of these fan cables, somehow do them better. But what I've done before that is the two sets of CPU cables I brought up here. Each of these is a 12-volt power supply. So those are hooked up. One tricky thing about those is they use square and hexagon or octagon shapes to fit in the 8 pins, and then it turns out that these are the only pins in the whole board that don't match. And from research, I found out that you can put octagons into the squares, and actually for these pins, that's what you're supposed to do, because there's so many different motherboard power supplies that they can't make an exact fit. So it was a bit challenging, but I always go from left to right, top to bottom. That way I'm not breaking my hands. So those are in, which is huge. And then what I realized, because I didn't realize I had grommets at the top here, now that I realize I have grommets at the top, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the top fans here, the 3 up here and the 1 here, that were doing all this mess down here. So I've disconnected the command module down here. It's still connected to the CPU, so it does the CPU thermal management. And then what I'm going to do, and this will look better because I'll see the screen, is I'm going to bring him through the grommet and I'm going to mount him behind the motherboard. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the cords up from here out that grommet, and then all the cords from these 3 fans will go back there, perfectly managed. All this area will be clear. And then what I'll do is, I hope the USB is going to go back down there, and then the connector from the CPU will be there. The SATA power I can hook behind, and then the link here that goes to the other fan network I can do from the side grommets here. And then basically what I'm going to do is the same strategy over here, except that instead of having to go like this, all the bottom fans, I'm going to take the cables out the back here, so there'll be none of this mess in the front. It will go here, and then I'm going to take the cables from those fans, and those ones I'm going to use some of the wire tethers, and I'm going to tether them to the bottom. And so they're going to come up one line up here, and then one line up here in like a square, and then it'll connect here. The auxiliary lines will come here, the SATA power will go back there, and then the network link, like here between the fan networks, it will be done through there. That way all this area will be free. Then I'll install the graphics card, then I'll hook up the power to the graphics card, remount the DP connector, then hook the DP connection back up to the LCD display, which goes through here and route through there. And then after that, we'll be in business. Everything will be hooked up, connected, power supply installed, graphics card, CPU, RAM, hard drive, everything. So I think that in another hour or two, I'll be at the point where I'm ready to power it on, which will be a huge milestone. And then from there, I'm going to be checking out the BIOS, making sure that goes well, and then if the BIOS launch goes well, then installing Windows 11.